Hello, and welcome to the Monster Painter. This week, I try to finish up some of the miniatures that have been lingering on my painting table for far too long. So, there is a joke about the miniature painter who works in a 6-inch corner of his table because he refuses to clean up the rest of the table. Sadly, I am that guy. I have accumulated an enormous backlog of partially painted miniatures, and I don't have the heart to just clean them off. It's very silly, but the only way I'm willing to remove a miniature from my work table is to finish it. This was manageable before I started a YouTube channel, but YouTube has changed my work process, and so I'm not finishing things up the way I used to. 90% of this stuff is a pre-channel legacy, and I would really like to get some more workspace freed up so I can do more work. So it's time to chip away at this mass and get some models off of the work table. First up, I have some miniatures out of the old Halo board game. They're not great models, but all they need is to have their bases painted up, and bang, the low-hanging fruit is getting done. And on to more low-hanging fruit. We have a big badass Warhammer Orc, a vintage 40k Eldar with a big gun, and a War Machine model of some sort with a flamethrower. They only need some touch-ups and a little detail. You might not even be able to notice the changes I'm going to make, but they satisfy me so they can come off the table. And finishing up the guy with the flamethrower is particularly important because I need him for Thursday's game of Stargrave. Next up, I have a couple of hideous Mutant Gun Zombie things from the infamous board game Sedition Wars. And while that game was a disaster, these models are disgustingly fun. I am not sure what I'm going to do with them, but I'm really glad they're coming off the work table. Let's keep the ball rolling. Here we have a sexy little Reaper Bones fairy, an official TSR 90s Dungeons & Dragons enter cap from back before when they weren't all spidery, and a classic Warhammer squig. And that squig is going to be hired on as a warhound for my Frostgrave warband. Now we have a modest conversion. It's some old Warhammer demon hound with a Warhammer ogre head attached in order to create a dreadful manticore. He evokes a bit of that old movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and will definitely be getting that manticore work done very well. Here we have something a little unusual, a boxer from Reaper in metal, along with a couple of Reaper Bones Death Knights. I didn't even touch the Death Knights, but the boxer is now ready to punch your lights out. And now we have 3 cute little Reaper Bones Mushroom Men who have been waiting for years to get their eyes painted in. And there we go. Was that really so hard? No, it wasn't. Next up, we have some zombie dogs from Twilight Creations board game Zombies for the End. These little guys have been kicking around the painting table for years, and it's about time I finish them up. I really like these models because unlike most dog miniatures, they are actually dog-sized in 28 millimeters. The game comes with almost 100 of these little hounds, and they are my go-to miniature for wild dogs, particularly in my favorite game, Frostgrave. Alright, on to a Phoenix-type model from the Magic the Gathering Arena of the Planeswalker board game. Now there's a mouthful. There's also a Ral Partha enter cap, and some kind of Warhammer mutant rat. I only got the Phoenix finished, but she is really ready to light your fire now. Here we have a great big Reaper Bones dragon that was part of a previous video about stuff I got at the Breakout Con auction. I wasn't completely satisfied with the paint job, so I'm adding a little polish to finish him off. I'm not sure there's much of a difference, but I'm satisfied and he's coming off the work table. Finally, we come to this pair of classic old Warhammer models, a Dwarf Troll Slayer and an Orc Commando. Now, I love to buy secondhand models, and sometimes you get really nicely painted ones when you do. I have previously added just a couple of little washes to flesh out the detail, and now all these blokes need is a couple of small details, and they can at long last come off the painting table. Thank God. And here they all are, all finished and ready for a myriad of tabletop adventures. It's quite a large number of models to finish up, and I am glad I did it. But has it helped ease the congestion on my work table? The answer is no, hardly at all. 24 models finished and off the table, and hardly a dent has been made. What is wrong with me? I should just grow up and clear my table off. Like that's gonna happen. Oh well. On to the monster fight. This week's match is a hideous eye stalker versus a great big ogre gladiator with a 90s haircut. Let's see who wins. It looks like a close match, but the eye stalker has defeated the ogre gladiator. Congratulations, eye stalker. Next week on the Monster Painter, I take on the Bones 5 Grey Mountain. I promise this time. I promise for sure this time. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. Ring the bell.